Well, here we go. Good afternoon. It has been indeed a very busy morning here at the Senate. As we speak right now, Embu Governor Martin Wambora making an impassioned plea to the Senate committee chaired by Dr. Halwale in his opening remarks here, just after the lawyers representing the members of the county assembly made their submissions, and those representing him telling people, you need to know the Martin Wambora you do not know, because he says he and his family have been suffering from the heart and pain of having been subjected to corruption and abuse of office allegations, insisting he's a man so much honored and revered by his former colleagues that even former President Moi asked around and sent an emissary to try and find out, is this the Wambora who was the district commissioner he knew, who had been handling all the Harambee money during his time and had never lost a cent? Talking about his ascent from the days of being a district officer, district commissioner, deputy provincial commissioner, eventually becoming a big shot at Treasury in the budget office, saying he's handled billions and could not in any way misappropriate funds. That's Wambora, who is currently giving his testimony to the Senate. He will actually have his time later. These are actually opening remarks. But more importantly, the county assembly also coming out very strongly through its lawyers, saying indeed Senate must live up to the billing, arguing and saying that this must set an example that governors should lead and not blame accounting officers, painting a picture of a man, they say, failed to put a tender committee in place and failed to also honor the provisions of the law, everything from setting up of the logos of the county to procurement of vehicles. Subsequently, his lawyers, Wambora that is, also try to paint a picture of frivolous arguments against Wambora. And they say the Senate must uphold the dignity of the process, saying the man is the governor of Embu, and therefore if he is to be sent home, the threshold of evidence must be high enough, citing cases in the United States of America, in Connecticut, and also into Nigerian states. So, Kirigo, it's a feisty session. And initially, Dr. Halwale had introduced the the clerk to the Senate, Jeremiah Nyengenye. He read the charges, and they do sound serious, Kirigo. We're in for history. History has been made as the process of impeaching the governor starts in earnest, to the 11-member committee, all listening, interjecting with their powerful questions, Kirigo.
All right, thank you very much, Abdi Osman. Of course, we will be expecting you to give us more details in our subsequent bulletins. But like Abdi is saying, a long and busy afternoon awaits them. We will be keeping you updated for that. Now, for a long time, women at the Lakeside region are dependent on fishing as a source of livelihood. Unfortunately, some of them will engage in sex in exchange for fish, as they are unable to go fishing deep into the lake. In order to reverse this trend, a project dubbed No Sex for Fish has now been initiated to end this practice in fishing.
The practice of trading fish for sex, known as jaboya in Doluo, has been the cause of worry for many women in the region.
Kuwa mbaya, watu ya jaboya imekuwa nyingi sana. Kama sina jaboya huwezi kupata samaki.
But now, this behavior may just come to an end if the initiative succeeds. The project, spearheaded by Victoria Institute for Research and Environmental Development International, seeks to empower the women to own their own boats and employ fishermen.
The women, on their own, have turned this activity into a merry-go-round, kind of, where they provide themselves the loan, and this loan enables them to buy nets and to buy their other basic requirements.
It aims to address jaboya as a public health issue, lessen poverty and gender inequality while being sustainable.
The women were selected depending on the vulnerability that they have. And one of the things that we were considering is that the women who have been affected directly or indirectly with the scourge of HIV and AIDS.
Though it is still in its infant stages, the stakeholders are optimistic that it will take root in the region.
Little by little we are doing that. We are bringing attention to this situation because our challenge is to get more funding, and that's where we can really expand and make a big difference around Lake Victoria.
The practice has in the recent past been blamed for giving rise to the spread of deadly diseases in the area. Zediko's Gay, Citizen at 1.
The ravaging drought in Turkana County has left over 300,000 people badly hit and in need of urgent help, according to the National Drought Management Authority. The most vulnerable segment of that affected population are children, a majority of whom are in school. Many of them peg their hopes of surviving this biting drought on school feeding programs, their thirst for knowledge equaled, if not outstripped, by their hunger for food and basic amenities. Evelyn Wamboy with that story.
They desperately hold on to their meal bowls as they stand in line. Their faces, though masked with accumulated layers of dust, beaming with glee. It's lunchtime, but to these children of Turkana, this will be their first and only meal for the day.
Mahali kuna chakula ndio watoto wote wanajaa.
School ordinarily is known as an institution of learning, but here at Ngimuriai Primary School in Turkana Central, meet the children whose hunger for a decent meal supersedes that of quality education. Dusty winds blow over Kasogol Etom village in Turkana, where rains have seldom fallen in recent weeks. It's midday, and like clockwork, children begin leaving their manyatas headed in one direction. It's school time. School at Ngimuriai Primary School starts at midday religiously, even though children rarely come to class to learn. Their incentive usually in the promised bowl of either porridge, boiled maize, or ugali cooked in the school's kitchen.
Watoto wanakuja kwa shule kukula. Hawajui ni masomo ndio wanakuja kuni. Ndio saizi hata wengine hawajui Kiswahili.
Eric Riklopua therefore stands conspicuously among the rest of his friends with his pens and book. He is the only one we notice carrying anything other than a bowl to school. His hunger for education, however, dulled by the overwhelming hunger for food by the children surrounding him. Even though this Class 3 pupil visibly enjoys learning more than anything else, the recent drought has muzzled his aspirations, seeing him walk home every day, starved of an education, returning to a reality that continues to stare him as his family in the face. When children have had their fill, they usually run back home or in the wilderness in search of dried fruits to take home to their parents, the weather too hot for any constructive learning. These same children still in the race for a better education and ultimately a better life, despite the odds being against them. Of children who have always received meager from such tender age, who have always known no better, but who still afford a smile and that sparkle in their eyes that signifies their unrelenting spirit. Turkana's children. Evelyn Wamboy, Citizen TV, Turkana.
Well, time to catch a breather now, but I'll be back with more local news as well as business news and sports news right after the break.